Business update now. Credit Suisse shares hit an all-time low, plunging around 25%, triggering several trading halts along the way. Now, the decline means the stock has lost more than 70% in the past year. This comes after its largest investor, Saudi National Bank, said it could not provide any further financial assistance, adding that it was a regulatory issue. Confidence in Credit Suisse was already dented after it said this week that it found material weaknesses and its financial reporting for the past 2 years. Well, following the recent developments, we've got Credit Suisse Group CEO Ulrich Körner joining us now from Zurich. Mr. Körner, thanks for joining us this evening. Now, Credit Suisse shares, they're falling even more to record low after the Saudi National Bank's latest statement. How are you going to stop the bleeding?
No, thank you very much, first of all, to you for having me here. As you heard me saying yesterday, and I like to reiterate that because it's highly important, obviously, at the Morgan Stanley conference, we are a globally, systemically important bank. And what that means is we operate under the highest possible, standards when it comes to capital, to funding, to liquidity, to our results overall. So that is, in comparison to other situations which we heard of and deal with since a couple of days, actually, is not comparable at all. So we are a strong bank, we are a global bank. Under Swiss regulation, we fulfill and overshoot basically all, regulatory requirements. Our capital, our liquidity basis is very, very strong. And by the way, you saw that also today in a statement of the chairman of the Saudi National Bank, actually, who is one of our main shareholders, as you know, who said, look, very strong bank, very strong financials under a strong regulatory regime. So I think this is first and foremost, to get out with respect to the current situation. And secondly, you were referring to the material weakness in our annual report. Also here, we published the annual report yesterday morning, as you know. The financial results are not affected in any way by this statement. I'll come back to that. So the financial results are unchanged for 2022 and the previous years. That's an important fact here. Secondly, the material weakness refers to, call it the financial reporting controls, which is, if you want to, like a testing and monitoring environment, which is obviously highly important, there's no question. And we are doing everything, as you would expect us to do, to remediate the weaknesses. But again, the most important fact here is it has not any impact on our financial results. So what is out there and what we put out on February 9 are the right and the accurate numbers. I think that is the most important thing here. Yeah. And you have also seen that our external auditor, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has given us an unqualified opinion on these results.
Mr. Körner, Credit Suisse outflows, those have hit more than $120 billion. How are you managing those outflows? What is the plan to build the bank back up?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So these outflows go back to more than 85% to the months of October and November, as you heard me talking about. And that was obviously for all our people, by the way, who do a fantastic job together with our clients, who I couldn't thank more in that situation. I will explain in a moment why. We have started a pretty unprecedented, I would say, client outreach program. And we started that on October 27th. That was the day when we were able to communicate our new strategy, and we couldn't speak before. We started to speak at the same day. So in the meantime, we reached out to more than 10,000 wealth management clients globally in like one-on-one individual discussions, explained the strategy, explained what we are doing, explained exactly where we are. I think that has created very good momentum towards the end of last year already. And that momentum traveled with us into Q1. and we do everything possible to keep up that momentum during the course of the whole year. And I think that is what we are doing to regain as many of these assets as quickly as possible, basically.
Mr. Corner, Credit Suisse has also seen a number of high-profile exits from Asia and Europe. All but one of the bank's executive board has also been replaced over the past 2 years. What does it say about the bank's internal affairs?
Now, look, what is right and what you are saying, we have somewhat heightened attrition, which, in a moment of change where we are in, is not so surprising. I think the flip side, and that is also very important to see, is we have no issue whatsoever to hire strong people from the market because, and this is because the strategy which we communicated, which is an execution for the next 3 years actually, resonates very much. It resonates 100% with our clients, and it resonates fully with all other stakeholder groups. So if people look at that, both my colleagues in the bank, but also people from the market, they look into that and they think, yeah, that makes sense. I want to be part of that journey. So that's the flip side of what you just said. In terms of the executive board, as you say, every one of my colleagues more or less new since a year and a half, basically all experts in their fields, all know these kind of moments and situations, and we are executing together as a team very, very strongly.
Let's talk a bit about the bank's strategy update. How confident is Credit Suisse in achieving that strategy? How long do you think it needs to turn things around?
Yeah, thanks. So the strategy, as I just said, is the right one, 100%. This is confirmed by all different stakeholder groups, which I talked to, as you can imagine, very, very intensively since the end of October. We are executing as we speak at pace, and that is also why I gave an update yesterday at the Morgan Stanley conference, and actually a little bit, so to speak, ahead of our plan. And this is necessary and this is good. The other thing is, which you need to bear in mind, please, is we said this is a 3 years transformation. So, to going into a new Credit Suisse and a simpler, more stable bank with high profitability levels, from where we are today, takes just some time. So it's worthwhile to do it, but it's 3 years transformation, and we are executing against this transformation successfully.
Well, Mr. Corner, within this transformation, this restructure, how will it impact operations in the Asia Pacific? Specifically, which markets will be afforded priority? Which markets would you give, say, less weight to as you seek to ride out this storm?
So, I'm in Hong Kong by chance next week, to run our flagship Asia Investment Conference together with my colleagues, and I'm very much looking forward to be in Hong Kong again, I must say. So Asia Pacific, as you know, is one of our most important regions since decades, actually. And allow me to say, the business which we are having in the different markets, the relationships which we may have with our clients in Asia Pacific, this is pretty much second to none. And this is something which we really do care of every day. So looking ahead as part of that transformation strategy, I would say the only thing, which we want to do is to make Asia Pac and the region even stronger. And that is what we are working for. You have seen we have received 3 licenses from China. Last week, we are particularly grateful for that because that means to us, we can start building on the ground our wealth management business now as well. And everyone was really excited about that news.
Mr. Corner, one quick one before we go. The collapse of SVB has shaken banking systems globally, and it is, a flashback to those dark days of 2008. Regular people, they're likely wondering now, are the right controls in place? Are my savings safe? What would you say to allay their concerns, as well as the concerns of investors, the concerns of regulators?
Look, as I said at the beginning, try to say at least this is a very different situation where, these banks were and where, globally and systemically important banks are like us. So you can't compare that at all. I would not, and you have seen the reactions taken in the US, I think very forcefully and very successfully so far, I must say. I would not expect that this creates huge spillover in the financial system. At least it's my personal opinion. And again, with us, in terms of facts, has nothing to do. Even our credit exposure to SVB, which you are mentioning, is absolutely not material. So it has nothing to do with our facts around Credit Suisse.
Mr. Corner, thank you for joining us this evening. That was Credit Suisse Group CEO Ulrich Corner.